Welcome. My name is Jasmine, and today I'm going to be reading a story written by me that is called The Neverending. Please enjoy. My name is Henry. I don't know why I'm writing this, but maybe, if I'm lucky, someone will find it. It started out normal. My daughter, June, and I were going out for Halloween. We were going to a haunted maze called the Neverending that had recently joined our town. June had wanted to go since she had saw it walking home from her school. Her birthday was fast approaching, and as a treat, I said yes. The maze was rather small. A few fake Halloween decorations. The scariest thing was a jumping spider from Spirit Halloween. My daughter was ecstatic. The corn maze had been dyed purple, and we were greeted by a man with a smile dressed like a circus host. Like the guy from The Greatest Showman. Messy brown hair, dark brown eyes, almost black. A toothy, wide grin that reached his ears. "Step right up, good sir, you too lovely lady. Just a few dollars, and you'll see the mysteries and the horrors of the Neverending," he said. His voice was high-pitched and energetic, the kind of guy that seems to make even the most tired folk wake up a little bit. Even I couldn't help the small smile tugging at my lips, though June was beaming. I handed him the cash, $5 per person, and he pulled a lever that opened a gate into the maze. I should have known something was off when the maze was darker than the outside was, but I had assumed it was just my mind playing tricks on me. I had to chase after June when she went running. At first, I thought I had lost her, but I saw her staring at something up ahead. Her face was pale, eyes wide with terror, and I followed her gaze in an attempt to see what had frightened her so. She's usually very brave. My June has never been one to scare easily, but this was one thing that could terrify even the most courageous of folk. There, standing before us, was a child. Not just any child, no. A child that looked just like June. There was one main difference, however. The impostor was wearing a grin too wide to be human, with pitch-black eyes and a suspicious amount of red stains on her clothes. I didn't have to think. I grabbed June's arm and raced toward the entrance, but I could feel the creature's eyes follow me. The gate was still open, but something was off. The man outside's grin was somehow wider now as he watched me and my daughter rapidly approach him. I watched in abject horror as he pulled the lever, the gate slowly beginning to close. I ran faster, screaming at him profanities and curses and begging him, "Please, hold the door." I couldn't make it in time, and suddenly the maze went dark. We were trapped. Now, I was trapped in pitch-black darkness with my daughter and a creature made of nightmares. The only thing I could think about was getting her to safety. "We'll find another way out," I promised her, determined. "Just stick with me." But June wasn't listening. When I turned to look at her, she was crying. She hugged my legs, scared out of her mind. "I'm sorry," she wailed. "I didn't know." I kneeled to her level, pulling her into a warm embrace. "It's okay, my little June bug. We'll get out of here, I promise." We sat like that for a while as she slowly cried herself to sleep in my arms. I knew then that I had to protect her, no matter what. I held her close, watching our surroundings. Shadows seemed to dance around us, taunting me, but I didn't dare let her go. I could hear faded laughter in the distance, distorted and evil, laughing at me, at us. I don't know how long it was before June woke up. We had left our phones in the car, hoping to have an electronic-free day. Bad decision. Even after she woke, I kept her close. I held her hand, and finally we began our journey. deeper into the maze. The twists and turns of the maze only heightened my anxiety as we went deeper. June jumped at the slightest of sounds, and I kept seeing shadows out of the corners of my eye. On high alert, I kept June by my side as we wandered. The halls seemed to get taller the further we went. Suddenly, June froze. So did I. We were at a crossroads. 3 ways we could go, each one darker than the last. We stood there for a few moments before I reluctantly released June's hand. She was trembling as I approached the first path, watching closely and listening to see if I could hear anything. I did. The sound of subtle rustling, like wind running through tree branches. The sound of freedom. June immediately tries to run to the end, but I stop her. Something doesn't feel right, I tell her. I don't trust this. She believes me, and we move on to the next one. In here, the silence is deafening. There's not a sound from inside, not even wind. It's as if the entire path was soundproofed. My thoughts are interrupted by a sound from the first path. Screaming. June. I didn't think, I just go. I race toward the sound of her voice, screaming, June! I cry, unable to bear the thought of her being hurt. Where are you? I don't stop until I see her. Impaled by a tree branch, mouth wide open, eyes displaying pure terror. Blood drips from the wood, the lack of light making it look black. I hesitate a moment, looking closer. It doesn't just look black. It is black. I look back up, hearing the cracking of bones popping back into place. She's moving. I stumble backwards, horrified as I realize that that's not my daughter. I gape, staring wide-eyed at what looks like my daughter as her bones reform and she sits up, blood dripping from her mouth, eyes that familiar pitch black from the creature before, now snarling. I hear the pitter-patter of footsteps behind me, but my body doesn't move. I'm frozen, watching as she flails, thrashing about in an attempt to get off the branch. Something tugs at my arm, and I hear muffled words, but I am petrified. Watching the deceased form of my flesh and blood fall to the ground with a sickening crunch. Blood splattering with a disgustingly loud squelch. I'm being pulled away, but I can't tell by who. Too entranced by watching her stand, her back and limbs distorting unnaturally, bending in ways that they shouldn't. The scene disappears, fading out of view as I finally turn to my savior. But when I do, there's no one there. I wipe my face, feeling tears as I sigh heavily, until I hear a voice from behind me. Daddy? My head snaps up instantly. Junie? I ask, weary but hopeful. Where? Daddy, I'm scared. I look around, but there are shadows everywhere, and I can't tell where the voice is coming from. June! I shout. Daddy, help me. The voice distorts, overtaken by other voices that drown her out. The shadows shift and form, looking identical to June. I try to follow her voice, running forward. Daddy, help me. Help me. I hear, running faster. I trip, hitting the ground hard. I'm knocked unconscious instantly, and the world goes black. I wake up hours later, June sitting beside me, face creased with worry. She looks up the moment I stir, scared to no end. Daddy! She cries, tackling me in a hug, her body trembling with broken sobs. I wrap my arms around her, confused and concerned, but focused on ensuring her safety. Shh, baby, it's okay, I say gently, comforting her. For a moment, I forget about our surroundings, focused solely on June. Here in my arms, and safe. She's safe. I breathe a sigh of relief as I hold her close, swearing to myself I will never let her go again. She cries for what feels like hours. Wrapped in my arms, she cries, and I don't move. The shadows seemed to stall and were left alone, temporarily, safe in our embrace. Alas, it does not last forever. I carry her away from our area, the desperation settling in. We have to leave. She rests in my arms, but I hold her close as I walk, followed by the fading voices of impostors. As I walk, I hear sounds from far away. Cars. Voices. Freedom. I shake June awake, helping her to stand. She stirs, groggy, but perks up at the sounds. She knows, too. I hold her hand as we walk cautiously toward the noises, hoping against hope that we've finally made it to the end. But just before we can get there, I hear a noise. No, not a noise. A voice. Daddy? The voice whispers. But that's impossible. June is right beside me. I turn to look at her, but when I do, it isn't her gentle blue eyes that stare black. They're pitch black. The smile much too wide, teethy, and her grip on my hand tightens as I fail to pull away. Are you scared, Daddy? Asks the creature, her voice sweet but distorted, making the breath escape my lungs. I struggle, trying to pull away, but her grip doesn't loosen. Behind me, I can hear my real daughter's voice, quiet, far away. She's looking for me, but I can't move. Don't be scared, she coos. We'll be happy, together. I react instantly, the fear in my lungs driving me into my fight or flight. And I only have one option. Fight. I lash out, attacking her with my free hand, running as fast as possible without looking back. I spot my daughter among the tall stalks of corn, grabbing her by the arm. I can hear the creature howling behind me, but I don't dare look back. No time to explain, I tell June, adrenaline pumping through my veins. Run! And so we do. We run as fast as any human can, and finally we reach the out, seeing the bright sun gazing down upon us. We don't stop running until we get to the car, but it won't start. The screeching is getting closer. I turn the key again and again and again. Nothing happens. Finally, I give up, pulling June along and running on foot back to our home. After we finally arrive home, I allow myself to rest. June sleeps in my bed that night. Neither of us very comfortable with the idea of her being alone. Finally, we are safe. The end. That was my story, written by me, The Neverending. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed.